What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, let's try that again. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. Can you hear me now? Not sure what happened there. Everything on my end showed that the sound was on, but whatever it is, I tried to restart everything and get it awakening and shaking and maybe just had to kick the dang computer. Whatever it is, hey, welcome to Lions Talk Live morning show. And, hey, we're back at it here now. Hopefully got everything figured out. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that push to get to 11,800 subs, and we're about 50 subs away from that. Also, if you would be so kind, take a half second of time. It is free of charge. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, whatever you want to call it button. Hey, reach on down and help the channel out. Last but not least, if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, go ahead, give me a call or shoot me a text. My phone number is 269-998-2384. Let's see if we can have a quick conversation. Try to figure out how to save you some money, save you some effort, save me some frustration on either buying or selling property in the great state of Michigan. You can go ahead and contact me. You see my number now on the screen, and I'll leave it on the scroller below that. All right, now that we got all the bugs figured out, let's go ahead and get over to the first segment of the day. And as you probably know, that is 5 headlines now. And one thing I've learned as a YouTuber is sometimes you got to be able to roll the dice. Issues happen all the time. Hey, sometimes unforeseen problems pop up and you got to be able to figure it out on the fly. So glad that we got the sound back for this. But anyways, over to the 5 headlines now. All right, the 5 headlines now. Lions already in Vikings players' heads before Week 18 showdown. Story by Isaiah De Los Santos. This is from Fanside. I think most of you guys probably get it. The Minnesota Vikings, their players, plus the Detroit Lions, they're all wear the same stuff. Lions and the Vikings are probably looking at this game coming down to have a lot of big meaning. This more than likely could potentially, how about that? Maybe that's a better way to word it. Could potentially determine the NFC North, who's king, who's second place. And if you're second place, it means you're not hosting a playoff game. You are going to be a wild card. And yes, I do think 3 teams from the NFC North are going to make it. But you already hear from a lot of things the Minnesota Vikings players are talking about that they're aware that they need to win this game in order to win the North, host a game at home, maybe try to make some games go through the Minnesota Vikings home field and go from there. So we all get it. That's going to be a big one for everybody involved. We'll see what shakes out with both teams. But make no mistakes, the Lions have to win out to force that big game, just like the Minnesota Vikings are going to have to win out to force that big game. All right, Lions film review, breaking down Broderick Martin, Pat O'Connor's performance versus the Green Bay Packers. Story by Jeff Risdon of USA Today. So, hey, I think most of us would say and feel that Patty O'Connor, you know what, he's done pretty well in what he's been given. And I would also say this kid, man, I think he's someone the Lions, when everybody else comes back, they're going to be looking at keeping him. Why? Because, man, he's got a motor. He splits defenders. He's able to play both defensive tackle positions, the DTI and DTS. So I think because of that alone, he's got a spot. Now, with that also being said, Broderick Martin, hey, we all get it. Kid's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of size, a lot of ability, a lot of this, a lot of that, or whatever. Got a lot of athleticism. He also needs a lot more probably time to grow. I personally like what I've seen out of him so far. I thought what he did last week was a good step in the right direction. With all that being said, though, Yes, indeed. Broderick Martin didn't have the best grades. He didn't have a Pat O'Connor's grade, and let that sink in. Pro Football Focus had him as an absolute bust, or whatever you want to say, a lowest graded Lion of last week. And yeah, I think most of us with our eyes would say, how could that be? This kid was off the chart good. We'll wait and see what his future is, but I think with both guys, they're going to be okay in time. Detroit Lions defense line still in, quote, flux. Aleem McNeil progressing in concussion protocol. Dave Burkett with the Detroit Free Press with this one. And I thought this was a little bit surprising because, you know, the Lions were saying, and so did Thursday Night Football crew, that, hey, Aleem McNeil was not or did not have a concussion. They were just saying it was a head injury. Now that we know and got a little bit more information about it, it does sound like he was dealing, or is dealing, I should say, with a concussion. I think he's going to be fine. Now, will he play this week? I guess that's the $1 million question, but I'm going to say whether he plays this week or not, he's going to be back at least the following week. So we'll wait and see what shakes. All right. Detroit Lions make announcement ahead of Sunday's game versus Buffalo Bills. Nick Myers of Athlon Sports with this. Not a big story, but I know a lot of you guys pay attention to the uniforms. It has some meaning to you guys, and it does appear the Lions are going to wear the all-black uniforms for this particular game, which probably isn't a huge surprise to any of us, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. I think there was one more on. New on-field video surfaces of Matt LaFleur trying to fight a Detroit Lions fan before, quote, Thursday Night Football. Total Pro Sports. The problem I had with this one is when he pulled up the story, you know, talks about the video emerges, but when I go to that, guess what? There's no video in the story. There are some pictures of the fan and of Matt LaFleur. I was not aware that the fan was taken off the field and removed from the celebration to be put in his seat. Now, the story also details that even though he was put in his seat and said, hey, you know, you can't be on the field for your intended purpose, a part of that celebration, that they also came back to him right at halftime or just before halftime, I think is what the story details, and says, yeah, you're out of here. You can't stay for the rest of the game. I'm surprised by that aspect because, let's be fair, at halftime of the game, he is no longer a part of any kind of fight or whatever with Matt LaFleur. There shouldn't be any more issues. So unless there's more to the story than most of us know, where he's somehow, I guess, still arguing with Matt LaFleur or whatever, I guess it could be, the Lions organization felt enough about it to say, hey, we got to go ahead and get you out of here. You're clearly causing a problem. So the only thing I could say is I would say that he must have been doing something still during the game to cause some more issues. But again, that's total speculation on my behalf. All right, let's see. Lions Packers set record for Thursday Night Football, story by Drew Leaner. And in case you weren't aware, this was the biggest most watched, biggest watch, whatever you want to say, Thursday Night Football game in the history of Thursday Night Football. They had what was the number? Nearly 19 million were watching this as its highest peak performance, with an average rating of 17.29 million throughout the viewership. It was up 61% versus last year's best game. So let that sink in. Everybody wanted to watch this game, and you know what? They got a pretty dang good game out of it. All right, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get into the main topic of the day. Main topic of the day, as you guys are probably aware, Detroit Lions, you know what? They've got a few injuries on defense. We also are probably aware that, a lot of the guys that were brought in off the street the last week or two have made some big impacts for us. In fact, some of these guys are so new to the team, me trying to find people for the thumbnail, find pictures of them in Lions uniforms versus other teams, that was a bit of a challenge. And as you guys probably tell from the thumbnail, you know, I think we've got some pretty good guys that have come in, and you know what? Another week with this team, 10 days, what do you want to say, where they've been kind of coached up on the playbook, what to do here, what to do there, how are we going to better utilize those players? That's all something that I think maybe most of us don't consider enough. But, you know, let's start with this. David Long Jr., we all probably get at this point, he's going to be a part of this defense for probably the rest of the year. Even when Alex Anzalone comes back, Long Jr. is probably going to be in that starting lineup until Anzalone's got the shaking the rust off. But also he's going to be a part of that, as Bo would like to say, rotation. I think that's an absolute win for them to get up there. We've been asking who's going to be more than likely the defensive end opposite Zadarius Smith. I think at this point, it's safe to say Alaquin Muhammad is more than likely going to be that all the time starting defensive end opposite of him. So if that holds water, I'd say right there, you've added two real nice pieces to this team. And if you watch Alaquin Muhammad, I think he gives you a lot in run support. He gives you a lot more in the fact that when other people return, you've got now increased depth across the board there at the defensive end. So you've added a linebacker without question. I think worst case scenario, Long Jr., he's going to add a lot of depth. Alaquin Muhammad, probably your starter, and potentially in the future, solid depth. Now, we already talked about him a little bit in this show, but Pat O'Connor. I mean, the fact that you were to get this guy off the street and assuming he can maintain what we've seen in a couple weeks now with him, I think it's an absolute find and a gem for this team. He, like I said, he can play either defensive tackle position. He splits guys. He gets into the run game. He gets after the quarterback. The fact that he's multi-layered like that and can play both spots, I think it's just an absolute win. So my question with those three guys, worst case scenario, they're all rotational pieces for you. How much better is your team for it? And then the last one I want to point out, and there's so many different guys I could point out in this defense, but I wanted to go with Ezekiel Turner. Yes, he made perhaps the tackle of the game last week or last Thursday on Thursday Night Football, but you know what? He adds speed. He adds flexibility. He can play either, or I should say all three of the linebacker spots, in my opinion, in the right circumstance. So you add an athlete who plays aggressive. And again, we all get it with the Lions coaching staff. They want guys that are Swiss Army knives, can play all sorts of different spots, etc. You know what? That seems to be what you have with him, and that's an absolute win for this team, in my opinion. And I haven't even, mentioned some other guys like Trevor Nowaski, Ben Neiman, or other. There's a ton of guys out there, Jamal Adams, whatever. These guys have all added another layer to this defense to add, if nothing else, just superior depth. I thought the Lions defense was pretty dang good in the preseason. I thought one of the strengths of this team, probably most of you guys would agree, is the depth of this team as far as it's across the board, offense, defense. But this defense appears to be, in my opinion now, when some of those other guys, the starters, return, this might be the deepest defense in the league because there will be guys that have gotten significant snaps to develop, to feel comfortable on the field, to understand the terminology. And I know we talked about it when we added Jamal Adams. Look at this Lions second layer of defense, the linebackers. These guys are crazy athletic. I mean, Jamal Adams might not be what he once was as a 3-time Pro Bowler, but you know what he still is? For a linebacker, he's pretty dang athletic. Alexander, we added, Kewan Alexander. I like what I saw of him, but you could tell he's still learning everything and still having to think on the field. And yes, anybody who's never coached before or whatever, played before, there's a big difference between your brain being able to do it without thinking and your brain having to think what to do. It does slow you down and it slows down your reactionary times. I think both of those guys I just mentioned are going to be pretty good in time. And again, add a lot more depth to this team. And yes, Jamal Adams can play safety on top of linebacker. Pat O'Connor already mentioned, man, I think he's going to add a ton of athleticism. Same with Broderick Martin to that defensive front. Alaquin Muhammad, amongst others, are probably going to make that defensive line pretty dang deep. All right, I have no idea if Anthony from Roar Lions UK will make it this week or not. I know last week he sent me a message, said, hey, man, sorry, just a lot of work stuff going on. And, most of you guys probably tune in every day and say, man, this is, you're a good show or whatever. You enjoy the show, and thank you for all the kind words you guys give us. It's also for a lot of YouTubers, it's not their job. It's just kind of something they do for fun. So, try to keep in mind when a guest can't make it or something, it's not like they're trying to stand you up or anything. It's just, this isn't what they do for a living. This is just, something they do part of their day because they're big fans. I enjoy doing it. It's not my job. I just enjoy being a Detroit Lions fan and talking with you guys every morning. This has really become part of my daily routine, and I just can't even imagine life without it nowadays, to be fair. Sorry, I'm trying to reboot some of the software that, for whatever reason, as you guys know, if you tuned in right off the bat, the original link for today's show didn't work. Apologies for that. I have no idea what was causing the sound issues. Everything on my end showed that the sound was on and that everything was right as rain. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't working. So, all right, let's go ahead and get over to you guys in the Duke Crew, see what you guys have to say. Who do you guys think was the biggest impact player, or if you want to list 2 or 3 different people, who are the biggest impact players that the coaching staff, the front office found and added to this defense? I've given you some lists. In my opinions, who's the big gun, who's been added. I guess, go with your own thoughts, but I'm going to say probably Alaquin Muhammad, David Long Jr., Turner, I really like. And Trevor Nowaski, to be fair, and he's been here for, 2 months now, he's made a big impact. Neiman, though, Ben Neiman at times has made a big impact. I just think this defense is vastly deeper now than it was, a month and a half ago. All right, Duke Crew, what say you? Let me scroll to the top of the screen. And yes, if you were in the other chat, I'm sorry, those comments are all lost now. So, nothing I can do about it. If you had a question or comment in the prior chat where the sound issue happened, go ahead and just do your best to throw it back over here. I'm not going to be able to dig those up, unfortunately. All right, Miles Marker, found you. Back at you. Found you too. Trey, back, yes. And again, sorry, guys. I'm not sure. Everything on my side showed when you guys said no audio, no sound, or whatever, it showed the sound was on. So I had to just shut it down, try to reboot the software, and just pray that it was something to do inside the software. All right, Brian, there we go. I'm glad it worked out, man. And sorry about the issues, man. Mutzka, all right, round 2. Hey, round 2 stepping up. Noel Guard, hey, feels like it's been a minute since I've seen you. So, hey, good to see you, my friend. Troy, morning coach and Duke Crew, back at you, Troy. Hopefully it's a phenomenal morning. Joe, Skipper, woo! You got to love the Skipper woo, my friend. Clark, and we are back. Yes, we are back. Guess who's back? Back again. The Duke Crew's back. Tell a friend. Burns, who's... Woo! There's sound. Yes, there is. Detroit Grit, not enough due yet. Probably not, man. Probably not. Never is enough due, is there? Let's see, Doug. Wow, nice. All posts should start off with no comments yet. Nice to be able to get a comment in. Yeah, I mean, you usually do, though, Doug. To be fair, usually do get some comments in. As far as I know, you're in there almost every morning. Rob, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. The Lions are the grooviest daddy-o and 12-1. You're not wrong, 12-1, and I know that's going to be one of the bigger thoughts down the stretch. What is it going to take record-wise to win the NFC North? I think you probably can't lose more than one more game in order to win the NFC North. But, I mean, I guess if Minnesota drops a few, then that will help out. But I would think that the Minnesota Vikings, at worst, lose to you week 18, and maybe they lose to the Green Bay Packers. I think that's the worst they're going to do. So I wouldn't be suspecting or hoping for them to have like some monumental drop-off. If it happens, I'll take it, though. Jason, Superdome or bust. Woo! And back at you. Good to see you, my friend, even though, probably were in the other chat, too. Mutzgar, fingers crossed. Let's hope so. JDC, take 2. Yep. Hopefully we don't need to take 3. Lions Talk Live fan. Woo! And there we go. Doug, start all programs at 7 a.m. exactly. Probably not, man. I enjoy putting them up at 6:30. All right, Detroit Grit, better. Yeah, thank you for that. Lions Talk Live fan. Why? All right, I'll go with why. Why not? How about that? Joe, yay. Well, yay it is. Yay it is. Miles Marker, how many remaining players and Lions bring back from IR? Question mark. Isn't it a max of 8 players allowed to return from the IR? Who will that be? There is a max. If it's 8, I don't really remember off the top of my noggin what the max number is, but I'm sure the Lions have already got that all figured out and planned in. And my guess is, at this point, you're not looking at Davenport coming back. Trying to think. Iffy Melifanu, who knows, man, with him. It's nothing against the kid. It's just he's always hurt. But I don't think Davenport's coming back. I do question at this point if Derek Barnes is coming back as well. Rob, how about that finish last night? I didn't get to check it out. All I know is that Micah Parsons, I saw something this morning when I got up and was getting the show ready, that Micah Parsons was less than happy and walking off the field. Let's see, Patrick, for sure and for certain, I'm down with that. Byron, there we go. Okay. Moonscar, yes, sounds good. Hey, you got to like it when there's sound. Marcus, click that like and mute button. That's the thing. The mute button wasn't the problem, and I'm not sure what it was because on my end, there's a mute button on the front, on the program, and one on the mic. Neither one was pressed, So it had to be something to do with the program. As soon as I shut down the program and then restarted it all, we were fine. So who knows, man? It's beyond my pay grade. David, morning all. Okay, now we can get ready for work. Yes, now you can get ready to work while listening on into Lions Talk Live. And good morning, David. ARF, loud and clear. Hey, well, that's a plus, ain't it? JDC, sounds thumbs up. I'll take that. Paul, we're back at it. Yes, we are. We got grit here. We don't ever stop working towards the goal or whatever, the end line. Art, it seems like a lot of teams went for it on fourth. Did MCDC open a floodgate? I think you are seeing more and more coaches. You know, you could say it's the MCDC effect. You could say it's just due to, whatever you want. I think the league, the last 5 years or so, maybe even longer than that, is trending towards more and more coaches seeing the value in going for it on fourth down. That brings in a lot of questions because, at some point, everybody likes to roll the dice. I would say most people do. But if you don't get it, then that's when obviously everybody in the media blows up on you and says, hey, you're a schmuck. You should have done this. You should have done that, whatever. Moon Scar, morning show 2.0. Yes, and thankfully there did not need to be a 3.0. Marcus, I can't hear you. Speak up. Woo! Well, hopefully you can hear me, man. Hopefully you can. Bo, good morning. Duke Crew, impact this NFL. Lions see Super Bowl. Woo! And back at you. And yes, I'm able to woo a little bit again. Let's see, Patrick, this year Lions 16-1 will be undefeated in the division and will not lose another game this year. Let's hope not. Let's hope we keep moving forward. Rom, hit that woo button for Coach Dan. Thank you for that, by the way. Brother Ken, Dan Campbell to Teddy Bruschi. Quote, if the Patriots can win, I feel bad for if the Patriots can win, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 injuries, but our bench ain't one. I'm down with that. And good morning to you, Brother Ken. I know it's early where you're at. Michael Broski Barrett, now Joe Pesco, laughing out loud. Pesco, might be, could be. I wouldn't be surprised by any stretch of the imagination if Broski Bear was in here under another name. In fact, I'm pretty sure he does that at times. But what that name is or anything like that, man, I do not know. So we'll go with that. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Andy, we should get Reader and Decker back. That will help tons. I agree. It would help out a ton if we were able to achieve that. Philippines on demand. Michael, why keep bringing him up? Question mark. Move on. Hey, he just, it is what it is. Jason, how many remember the first time when Dan had no sound for 30 minutes? Instant classic. Greatest episode ever. Hey, well, let's try not to relive that moment and try to move on from that moment. But yeah, I do remember exactly what you're talking about. Silver Server, I can hear now. Hey, well, I'm glad we got that all figured out. JDC, hit that like button. Don't hit the mute button. Yes, I try to avoid that whenever possible, and I got to make sure I go in and delete the other version of the morning show, the one that went for 3 minutes. Let's see if I can even do that while I'm talking to you guys, just so people don't, go to that all the time. But all right, delete forever. Yes, I understand. Deleting this permanently lose all access to audio and video analytics. All right, deleting that. So yeah, that's gone, and now we're just on this one. Okay. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Trying to do some stuff here on the fly. Let me real quick, since I'm already wasting some time and in here, set this for subscribers only. And there we go. Okay, all set. ARF, Broski Bear showed up in crunch time chat. Didn't tick around, and I did see her there. Okay, you saw him there. Very good, very good. Silver Server Coach, I think they keep Miles Adams next season. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I thought he did pretty well. It's one game, so it's a limited sample size, but I thought he did a pretty good job with things. I also think Pat O'Connor is probably trending towards being a part of this team. Wouldn't be surprised at all if David Long Jr. Returns to the team. Other than that, I guess we'll wait and see. Tommy's, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo, woo, woo. Kings of the North, baby. 100%. I think you're right with that, man. We will be Kings of the North. Hey, it's going to be a great fight into the finish, all that kind of stuff, but you know what? I think we're going to do it. I do think that my personal opinion, I think the Packers are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings when they play. So if that happens, then that takes some stress off us. But I think we all understand we still want to win that number one seed. So let's wait and see what shakes out in the next several weeks. All right, Philippines on demand. I hope we don't play the Packers in the playoffs. I'm tired of them. ! Mainly their players and coaches running their mouths. You're not wrong with that, and I get that, man. I think, we'd all like to see somebody different. The problem is, I think if you look at most of the candidates who we'd face potentially in the first round or second round, whenever we play them, we've probably already played those teams at some point this year. All right, you guys all know our special guest today. You know him, you love him. Let's go ahead and bring over Anthony from Roar the Lions UK. Anthony, can you hear me now?
I can hear you very good, Dan. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing a little bit better now that the sound is on and not any issues on my half for a change. So let me start off by asking you, what were your thoughts of last week's game, the ending of the Packers-Lions game, gambling man Dan going for it on 4th and inches, etc.?
Oh, I love it. I would not trade this brand of aggressive football for anything. Like, you sat and watched Sunday, and there were so many teams who were like at midfield, it was 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and they were just like, "Nah, we're going to punt it." I can't be arsed with that. Like, that's what Patricia used to do here. I know you get some bad ones like the turnover at the 30, etc., but I would take those bad ones for all the good ones we get. And quite frankly, we don't win that game if Dan's not aggressive. You get 2 touchdowns off 4th downs in the red zone. You ice the game with a 4th down call. If that was just a regular coach coaching that game, we'd have lost by 3 scores. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a terrific performance from us. I thought mentally, again, it showed just how tough and resilient this team is. Giving up the lead 4 minutes into the third quarter so quickly, it could have been easier for it to get out of hand. They just snapped out of it, bounced back, and then they look great. So, and plus it's against the Packers as well, who've been whiny little so-and-sos over the weekend. It's been funny to see their fans' reactions. So, in many ways, it's been great. But I love the game, I love the result, and I love this team.
You talk about the reaction the Packers fans have, and anybody who's been a Lions fan gets it. For eons, we've been on the opposite side of that. Why do you think now, after Thursday night's game, you're seeing such a violent reaction from Packers fans?
Because they're not used to it. Like, we've been the punching bag for years. Like, they've said this about the rest of the other NFC North teams. Like, Chicago have just been resigned to another losing season. They've got 1 winning season in the last 10 years. But no matter how bad it's been for them, we've always been worse. So there's always been someone for them to laugh at and someone to take the mick out of. And the same with the Packers and the Vikings. We've just been a team who they can sort of look down upon no matter how bad they're doing. We're always the punchline. Now we're above them and they have to really face their own stark inadequacies, like right in the eye. I think it's beginning to make them a little annoyed because, we're on top now. We're no longer there to be made fun of anymore. We are a serious team who is performing incredibly well and quite frankly has the rest of this division on the run at the minute. Our record against the NFC North in recent years has been tremendous. We're finding ways to grit out games no matter how bad we play. We're still winning. If we have bad periods of the game, we just overcome them. They want to be us. And that's a feeling they've never had before, and they're adjusting to it. I think that's why the reaction to us is a little, raw at the moment, because they know we are the best team in the division by a distance.
So you mentioned the Bears briefly. Obviously, they did not have a great performance last week. Why do you think they fell off so hard? I mean, they played us pretty dang tough, but then it's almost like they didn't even show up offensively the following game last weekend.
Because they built from outside in. Like, they've got a load of high-priced guys there who seem to have down tools and are not bothered anymore, and the coaching's gone. That was a team that when you get an interim head coach and you think, you have a bit of a boon, you have that interim head coach boost where you look good. They just look flat. They look disinterested. They look like they didn't care. And, it's because they don't have that core of young players like us. We have Penny, we have Aiden, we have Amon-Ra. We have all these guys who are young, who are the core here, who have been paid, setting the tone for this team, and nothing is acceptable other than 110%. You don't have that in Chicago, really. You got a couple of young guys there, but no centerfold pieces apart from Caleb. And what they're doing to him is disgusting. Putting him out so late in the game, down 4 scores, and watching him get sacked time after time after time. That's a poor run organization that doesn't care about its players' health, and it's just a load of guys trying to save their own skins. They just don't have the culture we do. That's the big difference between us.
So now let's move back to the Detroit Lions. Let's think about this weekend. We don't yet know if anybody's going to be back, who's back, or whatever. But let's assume for right now, all the players that were out against the Packers last week are out this week. If that is true, what do you do as the Detroit Lions to limit this Buffalo Bills offense and, Josh Allen?
You keep them on the sidelines. Like, we had time of possession of about 39 minutes against the Packers. You've got to do the same against the Bills. Like, your best defense is a good offense. If they're not on the field, they can't score points. You've got to be cold. You've got to be calculating. You've got to find ways to extend your drives, the fourth down plays. That's another part of Dan's aggression. Just when a team thinks they've got you on third down and they've stopped you, you go back out there, you break their back with a fourth down conversion. It just demoralizes them. And for us, it allowed us to keep the defense off the field long enough for them to not be exposed. And they didn't do bad. 14 of those 31 points that we conceded off the Packers were off turnovers within our own 30. So it's very difficult for them here. For us, I've just got to say, you've got to get your offense going and you've got to keep it out there and you've got to get a couple of turnovers. Like, the defense has its issues with the pass rush, but it's getting turnovers. Got 2 against the Packers. Absolutely critical. Stops drives, keeps the defense fresh. And that's what you've got to do against these guys. It's what the Rams did. The Rams had the ball about 8-9 minutes longer than the Bills did. It was just enough, because if you'd have flipped that and then the Bills have had 9 minutes more possession, they'd have won. So LA have showed us what to do here. Run the ball well, spread the ball around amongst your playmakers, just keep the drives going, keep scoring points, keep the pressure on them. Don't let Buffalo's offense affect this game the way it can. That's our biggest weapon, is our offense in this one, and I think they can do it.
You talk about the offense. Let's real quick. I get it. He's been a bit of a topic for the MVP race, but Jared Goff, when you watch this guy, when you watch other NFL teams that are in contention for the Super Bowl, what are your thoughts of him at this point in his career? What he's doing with the Detroit Lions? Should he be an NFL front runner for MVP? How much more upside do you think he has still this year?
I think he's got a lot more, and absolutely should be in the MVP race. Like, he doesn't get the shiny stats like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson do. He's not the dual threat kind of guy. But one, he's learning to rush more. A lot of teams just have no respect for him as a rusher whatsoever, so they're turning their backs to him. And more recently, you've seen Goff see this, and when the pocket breaks, he's starting to run the ball. That is huge for him, because now that he's going to start doing that, DBs are going to start turning their heads a little bit. Receivers are going to get a little bit more separation downfield because they're doing this. It's going to add another little niche to his game. So I want to keep seeing him do that. But in terms of his MVP credentials, he's absolutely got to be in this race. He won us this game. We could not run the ball in this game. And everybody goes, when the Lions can't run the ball, the Lions can't win games because Jared Goff thought he won. Like, he put this game on his back. He had the turnover, shook it right off. Didn't look like it bothered him at all. There were very few iffy passes from him in this. He protected it well. He spread the ball around well. Some passes were really good, crisp, clean. And he won us this game. Several clutch drives in there, thanks to him being able to keep it going and finding his guys. And he's brought a team from nothing to everything. And I fully believe you should take a team's situation into account when you're talking about, because most valuable player, MVP, it's about your effect on the franchise. And quite frankly, he's taken us from worst team in the league to best team in the league. Are there lots of good players on this team? Yes, but he is still the guy under center overseeing it all. He is the leader of this team, and he is leading us into an unprecedented season, most wins we've ever had. And when the run game doesn't do it, he does it for us. This notion that he can't do it without help is bogus. So I absolutely think he should be in there. Will he get it? Probably not, given what Josh Allen's been doing recently, etc. Right. But I think he should have bona fide consideration for it, considering where he's been, what he's done for this team, how he's playing. That should all factor into an MVP vote.
You bring up a point about last week's game about we couldn't really run the ball. The Packers, sort of like the Bears and a few other teams, have really seemed to do some stuff to limit our ability to run the ball. In your opinion, what did the Packers do to help limit both Sonic and Knuckles from having stronger performances against them?
They've got the best defensive tackle in the NFL. that's what they've got. Kenny Clark is absolutely amazing. He has been amazing for a long time. And that was why I was so excited when we drafted Aleem, because I knew Aleem would become our version of him, and just seeing him turn into that. But like that play before Gibbs' touchdown on the Texas route when we were like 2 yards out, he blew up like two of our guys and took Monty down for a tackle for loss to force us into that fourth down. Like what Kenny Clark gives to that team, you have to double team him. You have to spend a lot of resources on him. You saw the other guys, Colby Wooden, guys like that, getting into the backfield for tackles for loss because of the space he creates in that team. And you know, on the left side of that line, Glasgow's not had his best year. Ragnow's not having his best year, although I'm not blaming him in the slightest. He's still pretty good. But, you know, we've come up against some really good D tackles and teams who know how to stop. So I think that was it there. I think it was a particularly bad matchup for us. It's not a common theme for us to not be able to run the ball well. It's, you know, it's more often than not we're great at doing it. I think we just met a really bad matchup on the day, and a player had an absolutely tremendous game against us. And that's sometimes all it takes. But at the same point, we couldn't run it. We still won because we've got a quarterback who can get us to the win. So it shows we can win multiple ways, and stopping us running does not take us out of the game.
I think you're spot on. We've got a lot of talent on this team. I mean, you know that. I know that. Probably everybody watching on the Duke crew knows that. But let's now go back to the main topic of the day. When you look at these players, the guys filling in off the streets and whatever else you want to say, the guys we just acquired in the last few weeks, who do you think, or what players do you think are making the biggest impact? And do you think these guys, when other guys return from injury, you think some of them stick around and remain a part of the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, it's going to be tough when the guys start coming back as to who to cut and who not to. I think on the edge, I think Al-Qadim Mohammed's done incredibly well. Given that Za'Darius is taking up a lot of the attention on the other side, he's getting a lot of one-on-one looks, but still you've got to beat the one-on-one looks. And he had another really good game for us in terms of, if you're looking for a guy you want to bring into your rotation to be an effective part of the rotation, then absolutely he should stay when people start coming back, because, you know, we don't have that depth in the room right now. I think you look at guys like Ezekiel Turner's playing particularly well at the moment, and that's going to be really difficult because our linebacker room's absolutely stacked to high heaven. But Barnes may not come back next year. We don't know the contract situation with him yet. Obviously, Malcolm's not going to be back till, you know, during next season after it started. So there's going to be potential spots for him to come back there as well. So I've been really impressed with them too. But I just, overall, all the guys who've come in have just played really hard. They've played great. Pat O'Connor had a really good game to start with. You know, we put a lot of pressure on. It was a great first half from us. We didn't have the defense out there long, so it kept them fresh. Was able to make a lot of big plays. So yeah, those are a few of the guys I'd look to keep around a bit longer. But, you know, I would have all the others. I would try and keep them in and around this team as much as possible. You know, keep them on the practice squad, keep them around, because our practice squad has been our saving grace this year. We kept so many good guys on there. We've trained them. We've prepared them so they can just come in and make it look like it's no business. But, yeah, they've been good, but we do need to get some of our guys back. Our pass rush is a massive concern right now. After that first play, we got nothing really in this one. We need to get end sacks. Sacks are what kill drives and get you off the field sooner. That second half, Love was having a lot of time to throw and took us apart a bit. So hopefully we do start getting some of the starters back soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anytime you can set an offense back, you know, can put them behind schedule, just puts more pressure on that offensive line, that quarterback, the receiver. I mean, the whole group. So, all right, let's move on from that real quick and just talk about, Detroit Lions. They got one heck of a record. I think we all get it. Have you ever seen an NFL season like this where you've got three teams really in battle for the number one seed, and the worst team is the second and third place team with only 2 losses? Lions, I'd say most seasons at 12-1, you've probably separated from the pack. But unfortunately, the Lions have not pulled away from the pack, so these final 4 games are probably going to have significant meaning. What do you think the Lions are going to have to finish with record-wise to get the number one seed, let alone win the NFC North?
You feel like 3 games is the minimum, and of course you've got to beat Minnesota in that. So you've got to win 3. Week 18's got to be one of them. You'd like to win all 4, but very few teams go through with one loss in the season. So, law of averages and everything. But yeah, that Minnesota game's big. This Packers one was the biggest one, I feel like. This gives us a much better chance now because you lose that, you're up against the Bills next. Like, you could soon have a couple of losses on your record and everyone be up and around you. But that was a tough test we got out of the way. But yeah, 3 wins gets us there. But personally, I actually do like the fact that we're not just strolling away with it like the Chiefs are and that, because whilst you still got people chasing you, you still have to play 100% hard football. Like, there would be nothing worse than getting to the last 3 weeks of the year, wrapping up the 1 seed. I'm not saying the players don't take it easy, but when you don't have that pressure on you, I feel like our team's best when it's under pressure, when it's getting chased, when it's getting challenged. So the longer these guys stay on our tail, the more we're going to keep playing hard and just saying, yeah, keep running as hard as you can. You're never going to catch us. And I think by having all these teams right on our back, it's actually making us better because it's forcing us to have to keep going and having to play hard and having to break all these records. It feels like a season of destiny to me. Like, I don't feel like we can be stopped. Some of the games we've won, from the positions we've won them, the Texans game, the Bears game, like, this team just is not phased mentally by anything at all. And it just feels like there's no situation in a game that they can't come back from. And as soon as they get that little bit of momentum going, it's over for the other side. So that's where I'm at. 3 wins, you get the 1 seed. But teams keep chasing us, fine. I'll take that.
Okay. When you look at the Buffalo Bills, you look at Josh Allen. Obviously, you already mentioned earlier when we were talking about MVP consideration golf, Josh Allen seems to be maybe not everything you want in a quarterback, but if he's not the I guess, blueprint for NFL quarterback, him, Lamar Jackson, et cetera, guys who can throw it downfield, big bodies, can get out and run. Where do you see his faults being, and how do you, as Aaron Glenn, come Sunday, try to limit him?
I mean, you've got to it's tough. But, I mean, 2 years ago, we nearly beat them with a team that didn't make the playoffs.
We did.
We've got the trouble we had in that game was we didn't have the personnel in the secondary to hold up against their destructive passing game, hence why they got down the field so quick to get the field goal that won it for them. But if I'm Aaron Glenn, first and foremost, like, the Bills' weakness and their weakness in the game against the Rams, they've always had a history of been horrible running the football. Like, they are better this year because they have run the football better. But I've been screaming about this for years. They put it all on Josh Allen. Like, it's all on him. He got 6 touchdowns the other day and he still lost because he's got no help. He's got no run game to extend their drives out. Their defense is kept out there forever because they score so quickly. It's not necessarily a good thing scoring really quickly because your defense gets put back out there and other teams keep scoring on you. So if I'm Aaron, the first you stop that run game dead in its tracks and you force him to take the game into his own hands. And then you have to have an effective pass rush against him. The one thing the Rams didn't do, no sacks. Actually, there were no sacks in that game at all, which is odd. An 80-point game, no sacks, no turnovers, apart from the block punt. This is just really rare. But for us, you stop them running the ball, which we're really good at, and then you go after him and you tee off on him. And because I think we've got the guys in the secondary to go one-on-one with their receivers, so you can bring a bit more pressure on him. You can blitz him a little bit more. You can try and get him out of pocket. And he can't be Superman forever. That's always his Achilles heel. Somewhere along the line, he has a performance which is okay. And when his performance is okay, that Bills team is beatable. So first off, you keep his ass on the bench as long as you can. But then when he's in there, you put it all on him. Like, you make him do it. You do not give his team an opportunity to help him. That's how you beat him. And that's what the Rams did to him.
All right, Anthony, about that time. And hey, I see you stayed on actually a little bit later than normally. So thank you for that. Thank you, man. Why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out? Tell everybody about your great work, where to find you, where to come over, like, share, copy, subscribe, all the above.
Yeah, you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. So if you want to come see your Lions news and views from a British perspective, find us at Roar of the Lions UK. We're live on Mondays, Thursdays during the games. If you want to stop in and say hi during the live streams, I do a college show on Wednesdays. So if you like talking college ball, then come see me tomorrow when we do that. It's good fun. But yeah, find me all over, really. You'll find me here chatting with you and the Duke crew on Tuesdays. It's all good fun. And as always, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll always love having you here, man. So, all right, Duke crew, go over and check them out. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, all the above. And Anthony, as always, man, thanks for all your time.
You have a great day, all. Take care. Bye.
We'll see you now. All right, back to you guys. Let's see, Philippines. We've been playing with injuries much of the season. Brad has done an amazing job juggling through it, 100% juggling through it. So how about that? And yes, you are correct there. They've filled in a lot of different stuff. I really hope we get some guys back this week. Even if it's, I shouldn't say just, but if we could get DJ Reader and Lee McNeil back, that would be huge. Although I won't be surprised since it appears Lee McNeil does have a concussion if they hold him out for the following week, just to really allow that body, that brain to calm down. But hopefully we get a few guys back. JDC, Detroit Lions rebuilding since 57. Stay tuned to Coach Dan, Lions Talk Live for more updates. Go Lions. I concur with that, and thank you for that. Let's see, Eddie, Pat O'Connor is a beast. It does appear to be they found a diamond in the rough. Bo, the Brit with grit, exclamation point. Good morning, Ant-Man. I'm always thankful for his time. Quentin, woo, and back at you. Rob, I heard MCDC was going to kick, but Goff wanted to go for it. Maybe that is what it was. I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm thankful they went for it and won it. The Brit with grit, I like that, says Brother Ken. I concurred. I'm thankful for DC, for Dan Campbell. Me too, man. Me too. He's done a great job. Derek, love Ant-Man's college football shows too. Yeah, he does. I mean, him and the guys, they do real good work over there. If you haven't checked them out, you may want to consider it. See, Trey, Packers fans are crying hard. Yes, they are. They have been noticeably this week. Let's see, JDC, exactly. Ant Cheddars have to get used to losing again. Yes, they've they still got a real good team and organization. Nobody's taking that from them, but I do think they have to adjust that. Hey, they're not getting all the favorable calls. I do think the refs did not call some things against them, but of course, nobody mentions that. Hootskar, FTP, go learn to lose. Okay, we'll go with that. Let's see, Doug. They kind of follow the ways there of the whiny coach and us versus us. You can see the obvious different culture. Yes, there's clearly a difference there. I can agree with you a ton on that, Doug. Eddie's Fish, to all the other NFL teams, how does it feel to lose to the Lions for once? Yes, I'd like to see how they're feeling about that. Big Eddie, Bears took a draft dive, want a higher pick. That could be behind it, but yes, last week did not look good for them. Let's see, Jay-Z, Green Bay fans trying to talk stuff about Detroit or Dan. I remind them this will be the third season in a row they finished behind Detroit. If Dan's so bad, what do they say about their team? Yeah, if you're always behind us, then that's saying something about you and your front office. Bolt, no longer the punchline, now the puncher. I concur. See, Philippines, it really boggles my mind how many football fans don't understand these rules. I'm referring to when Goff fell on his knee during the handoff. Very strange. They can't grasp it. Yeah, and I think somebody else also brought up, how about every time you're the placeholder on an extra point or field goal? That guy's knee's on the ground when he touches the ball. He's not down by, without contact, all that stuff. So, again, same kind of thing. Doug, Bears are great at draft dives. The MO, yes, it is their MO. Phil, Green Bay still thinks they own the North. We're just a temporary occupant. Well, we're temporary for hopefully 2 straight seasons now. Darcy, DC is a great leader. Hope BJ doesn't go there. To where, I guess. Maybe Chicago? I don't know. Brother, Eddie Fish, ain't no fun when the rabbit has the gun. That's probably true, man. Let's see, Moonscar, Packers fans throw 0-16 in our face like it's going to still hurt. Winning cured those wounds, but they are still so hurt. They got hit with that old stuff hard right now. Yes, they're struggling with that emotionally. Joseph C., just wanted to get on here and say good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Good morning, Ant-Man. Go Lions. 13-1. Good to see you, my friend, as always. And don't forget to send me that other text. Clark, run that ball. Keep our defense off the field. I like the way you're thinking. Phil, Joseph C., pounding that. All right, we'll go with that. Doug, don't run passes with passes, intermediate runs. Yeah, don't go with that. Jay-Z, need DJ, Levi, Pascal, and Z-Man to shut down the run and contain Allen for the in the pocket. We'll see how many return this week. I'm hoping a few of them. Rob, a quote, be careful how you treat people on the way up. You'll meet the same people on the way back down. You're not wrong with that, my friend. Let's see, Doug, don't need to go deep, just need to run too much short passes to backs, okay? JDC, Lamers, Lambeau Field, home of the Lamers. Excuse me, Lambeau Field, home of the Lamers. There you go. Doug, 5 receivers with 5 catches each. You're not wrong. We shared the ball exponentially. See, Jay-Z also, Buffalo is not a good run D. Sonic and Knuckles should be running over and through them. I concur. Brother Ken, Lambeau Field, another good one. All right. Phil, Josh Allen is good, but doesn't have half the brain power of Goff. Okay, I'll go with that. Concurred. See, Josh, our biggest defense is our offense. Running the ball and setting up play action will keep Josh Allen off the field. Run the ball. Let's see what they do. I think they will do that, though. See, hello, no BS. I love listening to Lions talk because I think the Lions have the smartest fans and content creators in the NFL who really knows the game. Hey, we try to do what we can here, and glad you like it, man. Miles Meyer, Ant, the Brit with grit. Yes, indeed. Not necessarily run the ball, control the ball. Good mixed ball control. Yes, I think you're spot on with that, Doug. We're going to do, hey, Miles Meyer, good morning. Back at you. Matt, we're going to the Chicago game, but we live in Tennessee. How cold is it going to be? Man, I know, probably 30s or 40s, something like that. Phil, Lions Talk Live, no foul language, great teaching, great facts, fun, safe, true, and family. Yeah, I get why other groups do that stuff. It's just, as a coach, do I probably drop some superlative adjectives from time to time? Sure. As a content creator or, journalist, not at all. See, Jay-Z, Via Vide, or Kenny Clark, got to have a good nose tackle to have a chance against Detroit run game. Yeah, I concur with that. Jimmy, let's go Detroit. All grit, 100%, my friend. Good to see you this morning. Hookadoo. Morning, Brother Ken, one pride. Let's see, Phil. Brother Ken, Phil agreed. Philippines, Doug, we need to draft Ragnow and Decker's replacements. I do wonder if maybe they did that last year in the draft, or at least Glasgow's and potentially somebody for Decker in the future. Let's see, Mahogany, I hope he blends in sooner. I think he's going to be, this is just my opinion. I don't have any confirmation of it. I do think he's going to replace Glasgow this offseason. Dimitri, Dan, what up, though? What up to you, too? Hopefully it is a phenomenal start to your day. JDC, woo, I'll go with that. Doug, Philippines on demand, we need to replace Glasgow most. Yes, I think you're going to see him replaced, and then maybe the following season, Frank Ragnow, and the season after that, probably Taylor Decker. Phil, Brother Ken, OG Duke Cruz, us, yes. There are a lot of the OGs in here. Doug and Zettler is not signed beyond this year. Yeah, hopefully he wants to stay. Philippines, Doug, I forgot about him. I totally agree. Exclamation point. Then Decker's replacement. Okay. Eddie's Fish in the 2025 NFL Draft receiver, defensive line, cornerback, defense. Might be. King Jaffe, Frank Ragnow is 28 years old, just needs to stay healthy. Yeah. Remember, we haven't heard anything about it for so long. Most of us forgot about it. He is playing with a torn pec. Now, how much of it is healed? Man, I have no idea. Let's see, Doug. 2025 needs 6 linemen to protect Goff. Maybe. Phil, I like Galloway. All right. Jay-Z, Brad Holmes getting it done. Oh, I agree. Phil, Glasgow. Joe, let's see. All the teams are playing extra hard against the Lions. Yes, they want to be the team that takes us down. Phil, our young guys could begin to rotate in the give and starters a break. Maybe they will. Maybe. Jay-Z, don't need to worry about sacking Allen. Just keep him contained so he doesn't scramble for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I like your way of thinking. King Jaffe, Decker, Sodion, we can draft a stud left tackle. That would be nice. They might look to do that. JDZ, Z Factor, A-Vape, good morning, Coach Dan Aduku. Super Bowl is a good time. Yes, the Super Bowl will be, a good time. Matt, we're going to the Chicago game, but we live in Tennessee. It's probably going to be 30s or 40s is my guess. See, Detroit Grit, Decker, or Ragnow retires after Super Bowl win is what I feel is going to happen. You might be spot on with that. We win the Super Bowl, you might see some of those OG guys that have been here since like 2016-ish get out of here. See, Big D, Cold, I agree. Josh, I think we win out through the Super Bowl. All games close and toughly fought. Yeah, no give-me's, everything earned. Exclamation point. I agree. Let's see, Jay-Z is right. All right, I'll go with that. King Jaffe, why would a guy retire at 28 years old? Some guys do, some don't. Phil, Steph, you working? We'll find out. Philippines, new name for the Detroit Lions defense, the no-name defense. You're not wrong. You can't even identify half the guys. Like I said, when I was making the thumbnail, I can't even find Lions photos of half those guys. See, Doug, we won't have Zittler, and Glasgow is not a superior lineman other than he can play a good center. At left guard, he's not as good. No, I'd say they're all playing well on the line. He is probably the least or lowest graded of the offensive linemen. Carrick, what do you got? Good morning to all! Exclamation point. What a roaring time to be a Lions fan. Time to feast on some buffalo meat. Oh, what a rush. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a good time to be a Lions fan. Jay-Z, Joseph, if you're talking about me, it's Jay-Z, my initials. Or maybe you're saying it's a hard knock life. Maybe. Drew, great segment with Anthony this morning. Exclamation point. Hey, Coach and Duke Crew, go Lions. Good to see you, Drew, as always, my friend. Detroit Grit, just feel like is the to leave after the Super Bowl win on O-line. Yeah, we'll see if anybody does or doesn't. Maybe they want to go back-to-back. Static, Dean, what do you got? Chicago hungover against the Niners? Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope the Niners beat them down pretty hard. John, I know people don't like Taylor Decker because he played at Ohio State, but could his absence be hurting the run game? It's probably a factor to some level, sure. Trevor Reaver, if I were king of NFL, I'd rough up Josh Allen. Oh yeah, I'll go with that. See, brother Ken King Jaffe, I played football, JUCO, and retiring at 28 makes sense because football is a brutal game. Yeah, it wears on the body a ton. These guys, I mean, if you ever watch like Benny Blades, I don't think he still is, but in post NFL career life, if you guys remember Benny Blades, he became a high school athletic director down in, I want to say, Florida. And I get you're talking 20 years or whatever after he retired, but he could not at that age walk from field to different offices, whatever. He had to have a golf cart that would take him around because his lower body, his feet especially, were shot. Moonscar, Matt, it's going to be cold. It's the Windy City, and the wind will blow through you. You bring layers, warm underneath, windbreaker with hoodie. Yes, I concur with that. More, I hope Green Bay wins against Minnesota, hence the separation. I agree. Agreed 100%. Doug, let's see, Buffalo, question mark. Our DBs are way better than the 2022 game. That is also very, very true. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. I like the way you're thinking. Hookadoo, thanks, Anthony. King Jaffe, sure, it's brutal. I just haven't heard of top players retiring in the prime of their careers without major injury. What was it, a couple years ago, the 49ers? I can't remember the guy's name, but they had like an all-world middle linebacker that all of a sudden retired at like 26, and another guy. And I think some of them, everybody's different. I think some guys, they make their money, they're out. They like football, they don't love football. Philippines, if we lose one of the last 4 games, I'd prefer losing the Bills. Yes, because that would hurt less. Got to win those other 3 for sure. I agree. The Bills lost because it's AFC would still keep us in the number 1 seed of the NFC. Kneecaps with a spot of tea. I'll take that. Detroit Grit, they also don't want to get that season-ending injury either and go out with a Super Bowl win-ending career. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Bootscar, use AccuWeather and keep an eye on the hour by hour when it's about 3 days out. Hope some sunshine and low winds, mile per hour. Drink hot beverages in the stadium. I would agree with all the above. Phil, any head coach that engages a fan has lost his head case. Yeah, and I've spoken about that, and I'm surprised he did it, especially to that extent. King Jaffe, if 2 awesome linemen retire, who will be back to rebuild again? Yeah, we'll find answers to the problem for sure. Detroit Grit, not saying both, just feel one. All right, Matt, for sure we get into Chicago Saturday and are staying a few days. I'm planning on packing an extra cold just in case. Okay, an extra coat maybe. JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. We'll see you the next time. Non-laughers, feel like Ben Johnson is a family man. His family says we are Lions. Might be true. Bo, happy trails, Duke Crew. All done and dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. King Jaffe, could see Decker at 31, but Frank is in his prime, and he loves football. I think he will be around at least 3 more years. But yeah, draft a left tackle and let him sit behind Decker for the year. I think it's just my opinion. I think that's why they went out and got Giovanni Manu. I think they're projecting him to be the replacement. Look at you, Matt. Also pack a raincoat for something in case of the sleet or rain. Walt, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. William, Broski Bear in Crunch Time and YouTube channel. Fair enough. I'll go with that. Chromism. All right. Static Dean, hats off to the guys in the trenches where all the stars get all the credit, and our D and O line are top of the league and have won several games. Our secondary will be legendary. Watch and see. Go Lions. I think you are correct. Doug, speed and tackling versus Allen. I'll go with that. 12-1. You are correct, Miles. Rob, we won the division with a D of no names. It feels good to get out of the rain. I'll go with that also, Rob. Doug right now, so happy we locked up Mr. Sewell. Yes, he ain't going anywhere. A-Vape, Green Bay owned the North, not anymore. Football, y'all. All right. Hookadoo, happy trails. World famous Duke Crew. You are correct. World famous. Let's see. Matt Stamo, you got the Pride of Detroit. Had a great breakdown of who's coming back from injuries. All right. Thanks for that, by the way. Thanks for that heads up, Tom. Ed, Mr. Ed, good morning, Dan, Duke Crew. I have been on the sidelines listening for a while with health issues, but I'm back and all good. Go Lions. Glad that you're back, Mr. Ed. And yes, it has been a minute. Glad you are doing better. See, Jay-Z, the legend of boom. All right. Let's see, JDC, the Woo Dat defense. All right. Doug, other teams have figured out the left side with Glasgow and Decker or Skipper is our weak link. They are scheming against or better. Yeah, I'll go with that. Famous RW. What up, coach and crew? Have a awesome day. Same to you, my friend. All right, guys, one or two more, and then I got to get out of here. I've already done some overtime. Let's see, Rob, Steve Y couldn't walk right by the end of his career and would only play as long as he did because he was skating, not running. All right, yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that. Philippines, why would we hate on Decker for playing for Ohio? Spielman played for them too. Do we hate him? No, I love those guys. They are Lions. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, maybe some people do. I don't think many do, though. Hate on them, that is. The Trim Reaper, have a great day, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Oh, yeah. I'll go with that. Trim, watch an interview with John Gruden and Wayne Fonts. Yeah, I watched that. I was a big Wayne Fonts fan. A-Vape, whoops, football, all right. And Moonscar, Philippines agreed. All right, guys, made it through. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you would be so kind, hit that thumbs up button. Other than that, if there is breaking news, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until